Good day to everyone. Welcome back to Taiwan Education and the Culture. We will have continue to Chapter 4 and Section 4. In Section 4, we will talk about cultural value of education. Education has long played a very special societal role in Taiwan, and it is related to a Chinese tradition. You may have the question, why do most of Taiwanese parents want their children to study as high as possible? Of course, there are a lot of pressure to the children that you have to study very hard. Okay, the parents expect their children to have a high school diploma. Yes, definitely yes. Do they expect their children to have a college degree? I think the answer is also yes. Actually, they will expect their children to study as higher as possible. Okay, then we will try to talk about the reason of that phenomenon. That will come from three aspects. The first one we will call it as Confucianism. Remember in the last section, we will mention three main religions like Westerners think the Chinese people has three like Taoism, Buddhism, and Confucianism. But here we will let you understand actually Confucianism is not religion at all. The value of education for most of Taiwanese has been influenced by Confucianism. Confucianism is often characterized as a system of social and ethical philosophy, and rather than a religion. So there's no like Bible or the ritual or the God. Actually, it's a philosophy about the human life. Actually, Confucianism was just one of the philosophical thinking emerged in ancient China. The philosophy of Confucianism was considered as one of the most important thinking in human world. What is the content of the Confucianism? In many students in Taiwan, we all study Confucianism when we were young. And the content of the philosophy means an intellectual person should be a person with piety, like the filial to your parents, with kindness and with trust and righteousness, and etc. However, a suggestion by the academics make Confucian books as the only classic readings in official nomination. So that exists the system that those who are familiar with the Confucian books can be nominated as officers. So learning Confucianism became a route to achieve higher status for a person. So the second aspect comes from an exam system, which has lasted a long time. In ancient time, the exam system named Keju in Chinese. Keju is an examination system used in ancient China to select government officials, and it has existed more than 1400 years. Back in Manchu Qing dynasty, education in Taiwan has been similar to that of China, consisting of 3 levels of keju: local, provincial, and central level. As you can see, the picture here very clearly has shown this is the exam in the central government. That intellectual who already won the provincial keju was suggested to take the exam in Paris. Okay. According to record, they should write the essay 3 days, 3 nights until they finish this exam. Okay, so it's many composition, and they should be expert in Confucian's great books. So we call this a keju system. The content of keju exam is mainly the classic Confucius books. During Japanese colonization time, a modern education system was established. So the keju exam was abolished. The children, especially for boys, were required to go to primary school. I think that modern system of modern education system is influenced the Taiwanese people a lot, and we will address this educational system in chapter 5. I will give you more details about the modern education system in chapter 5. And the third aspect is about the education expectation for children. According to a study in US, the education expectation for children in different ethnic groups was compared. The expectation is higher for Chinese and Korean families than those of Americans. And as you can see, the top among the 3, Chinese and the Koreans, ethnic background, they have a higher educational expectation for their children. Now I think you can understand the Korean culture has a very similar historical background with China. So the Korean family also put high education expectation on their children. According to the survey in Taiwan, parents' educational expectation is higher than that of children themselves. Okay, that is very great pressure for the parents to put on their children. More than half of parents expect that their children would have degree of college or higher. So that will tell you how high it is. And the expectation will lead to high degree of learning pressure for students. Okay, this is the end of the section. I have a question for you. What are the influences of Confucianism on the value of education for Taiwanese? Okay, think about that. we mentioned about at least three aspects, and that's from my point of view. The first one is about the Confucianism, because that philosophy has turned into the officer nomination system. And the second one comes from the clergy, that is the really formal examination system existed in China, ancient China, long time ago. And that were these two examination systems became very familiar for most of the Chinese. And the third one, the parents will carry on this kind of the education expectation to their children. And I think they're all related to the Confucianism. This is the end of the section. Thank you for your listening.